provision. Okay, if the condition meet the 3 criteria, then only you can recognize it as a provision. Otherwise, it could be contingent liability, or you don't have to do anything, do nothing, that is the accounting treatment. Or if we are talking about inflow, it could be contingent asset. Okay, kalau you ada buat provision ke? Tak ada kan? Okay, if it is certain, then you recognize as asset. If it is probable, you disclose, disclose as a contingent asset in notes to the account. If possible or remote, then you have your accounting treatment. Your treatment is to do nothing. That one is for inflow. Okay, so this question, triangle, is in the process of preparing its draft financial statement for the year to 31st March 2012. So it is very useful for you to clearly look at the year end. Kalau ended other than December, it's better for you to jot down. Dia akan start bila, ended bila. So for this question, started on 1st April 2013. Betul? Betul, starting dia punya opening year started on 1st April 2013. Betul?
2011.
Yes, 2000. Mana pula betulnya?
Sedap tak?
Okay, dia start 2011 lah. So ended on March 2012. So the following matters have been brought to your attention on 1st April 2011. Bila ni date ni? 1st April 2011. This is at the beginning of the accounting period. Okay, the company brought into use. They start guna apa? A new processing plant. So we are talking about plant. So it will touch your knowledge on IS 16, sebab 16 property, plant and equipment. And another one, in this question, they are going to mention on decontamination cost, which is example of provision for removing and dismantling costs. Okay, so they can touch on IS 37. Okay, later kan. Right, this plant that had cost 15 million to construct. So when the company have plant, this plant ni, it could either you purchase or you build. And the initial value for plant ataupun initial value for PPE is at cost. Okay, at cost ni kita dah discuss dah under IFRS 16 pun we do mention that this cost bukanlah hanya purchase price. Okay, for IFRS 16 leasing, the cost consists of apa? Kalau kita cakap right of use asset, the cost tu adakah payment saja? No, it also include payment that has been made lagi. Recall sikit IFRS 16.
Other cost.
Ada cost apa?
Yang cost untuk dismantling, restoration.
Untuk leasing? Untuk leasing? Untuk 16, yes. 16, yes. Okay, 16 you akan ambil the cost include, kalau dia purchase price lah. Okay, kalau dia build, construction cost lah. And other direct costs. Okay, direct cost in bringing the asset into its use. Okay, for example, macam mana when you purchase or when you construct the plant, you requires training cost for your staff to handle the machine, to handle the plant. So yang tu, kalau tak ada training, maksudnya tak boleh nak operate the plant. So that will be your direct cost as well. Okay. And then apa lagi? And then ada capitalized borrowing cost. Ada capitalized borrowing cost. This is when the company requires financial assistance from bank lah kan. Okay, so dia ambil loan. Okay, and that loan, kalau ambil loan, when there is a borrowing, mestilah ada cost of borrowing, ada interest. So there is a situation where the company can capitalize the borrowing cost, but not in this question. Kita tak test you in this question. And another one you kena add lagi satu adalah provision for removing and dismantling. Okay, this is under IS 37. Okay, you addkan semua plus, then only you akan dapat dia punya cost. Cost tu berapa. This is the initial value, initial measurement. Okay, so in this question, dia touch dua saja, which is construction cost and provision for removing and dismantling cost. Right? So now you have to remember your initial value for the plant must include both the construction cost of 15 million together with the provision. Okay, untuk construction kita dah tahu it is 15 million. Untuk provision berapa pula? Right. The estimated life of the plant is 10 years. Okay, this will be used to calculate depreciation rate. The plant uses hazardous chemicals which are put in containers and shipped abroad for safe disposal after processing. Okay, no problem lah, they deal dengan hazardous chemicals, no problem, as long as it is within dia punya proses, dia punya procedures adalah within the law, then it's okay. The chemicals have also contaminated the plant. Now we are start talking about what the chemical did to the plant. Okay, have also contaminated. As you can see, dia kata contaminated. Okay, first dia dah berlaku. Okay, it is past tense. And another reason why kita kata dia dah berlaku is because the contamination occurred as soon as the plant was used. Bila they start using the plant, it is on 1st April 2011 on this date. So starting this date, contamination has occurred. Okay. So what else? It is a legal requirement. Okay, now legal requirement that the plant is decontaminated, meaning you have to do the cleanup. Okay, bila? At the end of its life. And when is this? This is after 10 years. Okay, so this is the cost that the decontamination cost will need to be incurred at the end of 10 years. Okay, we are talking about future payment. Okay, that's why it involves provision. Sebab provision ni adalah satu uncertain amount, another one is uncertain timing. So we are talking about future payment. Okay, future cost to be incurred. And can they avoid this? The answer is no. Kenapa? Because there is already past event. Apa past event dia? The plant has been used. Once they use, they have contaminated. Once they contaminated, they have to do the decontamination. It's only that they will only carry out the decontamination process at the end of the life of the plant, kan, after 10 years. Okay, kalau dia tak buat, okay ke tak okay? Since it is a legal requirement, so there is a number one, legal obligation. Okay, the 3 criteria tu kan, you kena tengok whether there is a present obligation. Present obligation ni is depends on ada tak past event. Is there any past event? In this question, because of the use, they contaminate, then this will refer to their past event. Kalau dia belum guna lagi the plant, maksudnya dia belum lagi contaminate the plant, so this decontamination cost can be avoided. And at that point, dia tak boleh buat provision lah selagi tak contaminate the plant. Okay, right? So the first criteria of whether there is a present obligation, and in this question, present legal obligation, boleh terus cakap legal sebab dia dah mention it is a legal requirement. It is because the company has contaminated the plants as soon as the plant being used on 1st April 2011. Itu dia punya past event. So adalah present and present legal obligation. Okay, so the other 2 criteria are whether it is probable. Probable, meaning the chances of the company to spend for decontamination costs. It is probable that more than 50% chances ke? Yes, of course, because it is required by law. Okay, and another one, can it be measured reliably? Okay, as we can see here, dia dah estimate dah pun. Alright, so yes lah. Alright, so you 1, 2, 3, all three criteria are being met, then you can make a provision. Okay, so you pun nak buat provision, you nak credit provision, you nak debit apa kelas? You credit provision for decontamination cost. Okay, you nak debit apa? You nak debit apa?
Expense.
Debit expense. Okay, provision ni memang ada dua. Satu, you debit expense. Another one, you debit asset. Bila you debit asset, that is known as capitalized provision. Okay, sebenarnya I dah hint kat you. Hint kat mana masa ni? Masa I explain PPE. Dekat sini. Dekat sini I dah hint kat you. Okay, so kalau dekat sini, what is the double entry? Ini yang merah ni. Apa double entry dia? Debit. Ini yang merah ni.
Debit PPE or debit asset.
Yes, debit asset credit provision. Okay, we are talking about the same one lah. The same double entry we are talking about ni lah. Debit, kalau macam ni, debit plan. Okay, betul lah, debit asset, debit PPE. Okay, so this is the example of capitalized provision yang mana you tak debit expenses, but you debit costs, debit the cost of asset, you debit asset. Okay, that's why nanti dia punya initial cost ni nanti kelas, dia adalah construction cost of 15 plus provision of berapa. What the company had done is dia make a provision of 500,000. Okay, dia macam ni. Once you can make the provision and if the contamination has occurred, maksudnya dia memang kena incur the decontamination, later dia kena spend, so you can make the full provision. Full provision untuk decontamination cost. Full. In full. In full tu berapa? Okay, actually in full tu sebenarnya that is the amount in future. Okay, in 10 years time kan. Tetapi you are recording it now. Okay, so bila you record now, you kena dapatkan present value. Okay, present value of decontamination cost in 10 years time. The present value now. Okay, tapi soalan ni lah, dia mudahkan you. Dia dah bagi tahu you the present value of this decontamination using a discount rate of 8% is 5 million. Yang ni yang you cari sebenarnya, the present value, 5 million. But they can also ask you in different way. They are telling you the decontamination cost in 10 years time is, for example, 10 million. Dia kata 10 million. You nanti, you jangan credit 10 million tau. You kena cari present value of 10 million. Yang tu yang you credit. Okay, right? So in this question dia dah mention the present value is 5 million. So there is no need for calculation. You terus ambil that 5 million. Okay, debit plan 5 million, credit provision 5 million. Kat sini 5. So 15 plus 5, the cost of PPE, the cost of this plan become 20 million. So later you nak buat depreciation pun, it should be based on the initial cost of plan, which is 20 million. What the company have done is the financial statement have been charged with the 1.5 million for plant depreciation. Depreciation they charge 1.5 saja, which is based on the construction cost, which is incorrect. The correct one is 20 million divided by 10 years. So dia akan jadi 2 million per year. Okay, depreciation charge should be 2 million. Right, so do you have this? This is the suggested solution. Okay, you do have to mention both standard 37 and 16. Okay, mention that under 37 requires the cost of decontamination should be provided in full. Why? Since the contamination had already occurred. Okay, and it is correct to discount the amount of the provision to its present value. Okay, amount of provision, you kena baca soalan carefully lah, whether the amount given to is the provision in 10 years time or that is the present value. Okay, read the question properly. You faham tak? You kena ambil yang mana? You kena ambil figure hari ni, bukan figure yang 10 tahun lagi. Right? Okay, you nak record hari ni, you record figure hari ni. And that figure will increase lah sebenarnya kelas. Dia increase by, in this question, 8% based on interest rate. So after 10 years, dia akan dapat the value in 10 years, and at that time, on the 10th year, dia akan debit provision, credit bank. Okay, provision, yeah, you accumulate every year. In 10 years time, you increase 8% due to interest. Okay, and then at the end of 10 years, you akan debit provision. Kan? Because selama ni you credit, increase kan? Nanti bila you nak use up the provision, you nak use up the allowance, you debit provision, credit bank. Okay, so therefore the amount of the provision should be 5 million, bukanlah 500. Kenapa dia ambil 500 Okay, dia ambil 5 million divided by 10. So every year dia nak add in 500. That is not the right way. Okay, under IS 16 kata apa? The initial cost ni sebenarnya we are talking about initial measurement lah kan? Okay, of an item of PPE includes any estimated, kena includes, okay, bukan construction cost saja, bukan purchase price saja, but must includes any estimated cost of dismantling and restoration. Termasuklah decontamination tu is example of dismantling and restoration. You do the cleanup. Okay, restore to the original nature kan. Okay, as long as the obligation to meet those costs is incurred. Okay, as long as the obligation to meet those costs is incurred. Dah incurred ke belum? Okay, in this question dah lah, has been contaminated. So the 5 million decontamination cost should be added. Ini yang kita kena add to the cost of plant. Bila kata add tu yang debit asset. Okay, bringing this cost of asset to a total of 20 million. So your depreciation will be based on this 20 million. Okay, that's why your depreciation per year should be the correct treatment is 2 million per annum. Where later when you prepare SOFP, the carrying value of this plant is cost minus accumulated depreciation. For the first year, dia jadi 18 million lah. So dapatkan carrying value. And non-current liability of 5 million, this is referring to your provision tadi. Provision for decontamination costs. Okay, next, number 2. Any questions so far? On 15 May 2012, the company auditors discovered a fraud. Bila 15 May ni? Is it before, during or after? After year end. It is after year end. Year end kan 31st March. Yang ni dia discover 15 May. That is after year end. So after year end, the auditor discovered a fraud. Now we are talking about IAS 10 class. IAS 10 ni apa dia? Event after balance sheet date ataupun post balance sheet event. These are events that occurred between the 2 dates. What are the 2 dates? Year end dengan before Board of Directors approve the financial statement. Okay, before they approve to release to shareholders lah. Okay, release to the public. Alright, so anything happen between this date kita kena refer IAS 10. Sebab IAS 10 will advise whether or not you will adjust your financial statement or you will not adjust your financial statement. Okay, so how to determine whether it is adjusting or non-adjusting event? Kita akan tengok whether or not the event tu has been occurred during your accounting period. Even though they only discovered the fraud after year end, tapi for this kind of event, fraud, okay, dia tak berlaku in one day, in one night. Dia mesti dah berlaku lama dah. Right? And apart from that, in this question pun dia dah mention, dia dah touch dah, which it's occurred during accounting period. Okay, and for during the accounting period, the calculation has been made that due to the fraud case, they are incurring 240. So fraud ni dapat untung ke dapat rugi? Rugilah company kan? So who will bear the cost? Company lah. Alright, so dia akan effect kat mana? Soci kita lah. Okay, reduce in profit. Okay, so reducing profit ni dia akan touch is either cost of sale ataupun other expenses. Betul tak? Dah tak ada expenses lain kan dalam Soci. Alright, cost of sales or okay lah, you have lah admin, selling, shipping, tu semua adalah distribution expenses adalah. Okay, and another one is other expenses that is indirect for indirect costs, kan? Indirect expenses. Okay, so the costs are 240. Nak kena adjust semua ke? However, 210 saja related to the year 31st March 2012. Only 210 saja related. So kita adjust 210 saja. Kita adjust 210. What about the balance of 30,000? 30,000 ni for the year ended 2012, it will become non-adjusting. Okay, tetapi in 2013, kita adjust lah dalam financial statement ended 2013. Okay, that balance of 30,000 tu. Boleh eh? Okay, so under IAS 10, event after balance sheet date, it requires that the fraud of 210 saja should be treated as adjusting event. Bila adjusting event, meaning you have to touch your financial statement. You have to adjust the figure in your financial statement. For this case, what are the things need to be adjusted? Dekat item mana? Okay, dia dah mention that it is the case where the staff, okay, authorized payment for goods that had never been received, as if the company make purchases. Okay, tapi tak ada pembarang. Duit keluar, barang tak masuk. Alright, so how to adjust? How to adjust is by reducing 210 from purchases. Okay, reducing 210 ataupun you reverse balik, you exclude the purchase transaction that has been made by that staff tadi. Okay, so these 210 should be deducted from cost of sales. Kenapa cost of sales? Sebab dalam cost of sales lah ada purchases. We are talking about reducing purchases. And shown as a expenses. Sebenarnya kita keluarkan daripada purchases, kita masukkan dekat mana kelas? Dekat bahagian expenses in the statement of comprehensive income. Okay, in the statement of comprehensive income. So by right, kalau we are talking about expenses tu, dia akan affect you punya gross profit tu berubah lah. Okay, gross profit will be affected sebab daripada duduk kat atas sekarang dia dah kat bawah kan. Okay, that expenses tu 210. But your apa ni? Your net profit tak berubah sebenarnya kalau you present. Okay, tinggal lagi the adjustment that we made is only relocate lah the expenses from cost of sales to other expenses. So dia hanya effect gross profit. From there barulah company boleh buat better calculation lah bila dia nak buat profit margin ke apa semua. Dia nak tengok efficiency and by them in dealing with inventory, then you will get better performance lah sebab you dah exclude that purchases. Kalau tidak, dia akan nampak macam apa? You buat a lot of purchases tapi you punya revenue kurang. Okay, that shows a low performance, a weak performance kan. Okay, bila dia dah relocate, so dia akan compare the figures tadi, dia takkan compare lah with fake purchases tadi. Right? Okay, so the remaining of 30,000, okay, before that, I tertinggal ni, this may require a separate disclosure if the amount is considered to be material. What does it mean by a separate disclosure? Maksudnya dia tunjuklah that 210 tu, dia tak masukkan that 210 kat mana-mana. Tak masukkan dalam admin expenses, for example. Okay, dia memang show that as a single line ke, ataupun dia akan refer dekat notes to the account, stated in notes to the account that 210 is related to the fraud that has been discovered and blah 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 lah. Okay, disclosure need to be made to the shareholders. Kalau tidak, shareholders akan nampak, oh tinggi pula admin expenses tahun ni, for example. Okay, what about the remaining 30,000? The 30,000 of fraud should be treated. Untuk tahun ni dia akan jadi non-adjusting lah. Tapi next year kita akan adjust lah. Okay, this 30,000. Kita kurangkan profit in the following year. Okay, even though it is non-adjusting event, but still you kena disclose in notes to the account. Okay, if material lah. Material ni maksudnya apa kelas? Barang Bahan Okay, we are thinking about significant kan? Penting tak penting, whether the information is important to the shareholders kan, to the investors, for them to make investment decision. Okay, next, number 3. Any question for question 2? There. Okay, good. Number 3, the company has contacted its insurer. Okay, kenapa company contact insurer in respect of the above fraud? Okay, so nak claim lah. Alright, Triangle is insured for theft, but the insurance company maintain that this is a commercial fraud and not covered by theft clause in the insurance policy. So company dia nak claim, tapi insurance pula. Okay, tak nak bagi. So boleh settle macam tu je ke? Tak. Okay, dia akan buat jadi macam mana? Dia akan masuk court lah. Okay, they have to decide in court. Okay, kita nak tengok whether this fraud ni should be covered by the insurance company or not. So you nak tutup account ni, but you have no idea. Tinggal lagi you dah, you know that it happens lah during that period. So nak buat apa sekarang? We are talking about inflow ke outflow? We are talking about claim kan? Kalau claim inflow. So kita nak buat apa kalau inflow? We have to assess on the likelihood of this inflow. Agak-agak dapat tak claim? Okay? Nak assess masa bila? As at 31st March 2012 ni lah, before you release the financial statement lah. How to assess? Kan kita ada 4 likelihood. Okay, it could be certain, it could be probable, it could be possible, it could be remote. Okay, so macam mana nak determine which one? Kita kena tengok what did the professional advise the company. So depend on lawyer lah, lawyer cakap apa. However, Triangle has not yet had an opinion. Tak ada pula opinion. Kalau tak ada opinion, certain ni memang tak lah kan. Okay, probable ni we are talking about chances to more than 50% kan. Lawyer tak cakap apa-apa lagi dan kita nak confident kata probable macam mana pula kan, memang tak lah. So tinggal 2 je lah kelas, possible or remote. Okay, ataupun dia akan cakap not probable. So what is the accounting treatment for inflow that is possible? It is to do nothing. Okay, that's why what is your accounting treatment? Sebab you tengah nak prepare financial statement ni, nak kena buat apa? Nak kena buat apa since you have this event? So for this claim ni, the possible, tengok wording dia guna, possible. Kita tak ada kata probable ke certain. They use the word possible. Insurance claim is a contingent asset. Okay, the asset sebab di inflow. Okay, kenapa dia inflow? Sebab company claim. Kalau company claim, mestinya dapat duit lah. Kan? Alright. Since it is only possible, not probable, that the claim will be successful, it should be ignored. Nampak? Okay, you kena come up with, you start dengan how do you determine ataupun you recognize that claim as what? You recognize as contingent asset. Lepas tu tengok probability dia pula, possibility ni is depends on lawyer punya advice kan. Cakap not probable, and then you come up with the accounting treatment. Ni accounting treatment lah ni, do nothing ni, ignore ni. Itulah accounting treatment dia. Kan? When preparing the financial statement for the year 31st March 2012. Okay lah, 2012 ni memanglah you do nothing tau. For 31st March 2013, you kena assess balik the possibility. Adakah certain ke, probable, possible, remote. Tengok tak kalau you tak ada advice lagi after 1 year kan. Okay. Right. So from there you arrive at, kalau we are talking about inflow, ini kalau certain you recognize sebagai asset. Okay. Certain ni maksudnya mestilah court dah kata, okay, insurance company have to bear the cost. They are liable. They have the obligation to pay to the company, then you recognize as asset. Kan? Receivable. Kalau probable, maksudnya apa accounting dia? Accounting treatment.
Disclose by note.
Okay, disclose in notes to the account as a contingent asset. Okay, kalau masih lagi possible ataupun remote, possible ni, we are talking about maksudnya bila dah possible ni, maksudnya chances to win the case. Maksudnya mungkin lawyer kata tak boleh menang ni, memang tak boleh menang lah. Memang it's clearly stated in their clause. Kan? Dia kata possible lah. It is, dia sebenarnya dia cakap tu possible inflow. Possible inflow meaning possible untuk win. Okay, which is less than 50%. Maksudnya lawyer kata mungkin kalah. Kan? And chances tu is more than 50% untuk kalah. Alright, so you do nothing. Okay, ni untuk inflow. Untuk outflow, do you still remember? Kalau outflow macam mana? Kalau certain? Recognize as?
Liability.
Yes, good. Okay, probable? Liability, jadi provision. Possible?
Disclose.
Yes, good. Okay, disclose. Disclose in notes to the account as contingent liability. Oh, okay. Remote. Do nothing. No. Okay. So that is your IS 37 cycle dah. Any question? Class, homework. Homework you kena buat all the questions. All the tutorial question. Ada berapa Banyak kan? Tapi pendek-pendek, betul tak? Okay, you have the question together with the solution. Okay, kita bukan sekadar nak tahu saja, tapi kita nak faham. Boleh? Bila you baca soalan, bila you baca jawapan, the thinking process must be running. Maksudnya you assess. Okay, untuk 37 tu dia nak assess apa? Dia nak assess the recognition criteria. 3 recognition criteria tu. You kena tengok, you boleh link tak past event. Okay, lepas tu we are talking about probability of inflow or outflow tu is based on apa? Based on professional advice. Professional advice cakap macam mana yang dia akan end up sebagai certain. Professional advice akan cakap macam mana dia end up dengan probable or possible. Okay? Those are the things that you have to think, discuss and make sure you understand. Sebab ni dalam buku je. Real world lagi lah pening. Allah Akbar. Kan? Okay. So kita kena, kita terror yang basic dulu. Nanti insyaAllah in real world, kita tak terkejut sangat. Boleh bincang lah. Tak adalah kita senyap terus. Okay. Right. So that's all for IS 37. Alright. Next class we will discuss on EPS. Okay, earning per share. Bila next class? Next class tu sepatutnya earning per share tu patutnya Monday. Monday yang tak buat kelas tu. So I tunda. You all 3.3 ni kena